and feeling like they can be part of the community. Okay, so let's see some data here about Dubai. So first, before I go to Dubai, I have some kind of misunderstanding of it, right? So for example, the first one, many people, including myself previously, I tend to think, oh, Dubai, is it a country or something? But no, Dubai is a city, not a country. So the country is UAE, United Arab Emirates, okay? And Dubai is not the capital city, but it's the second biggest city there in UAE, okay? And as you can see, the population there, they have a little bit over 3 million people in Dubai. That's the population, but overall, 85% or even higher percentage of them, they're foreigners. They're people from different countries all over the world. So that's why when I mention Dubai, I always say it's a very, very international environment. You can basically meet people from all over the world. You can make friends with them. You can learn their culture, right? So that's a very good thing. And also that's to our international students, that's a very welcoming and a friendly community. Okay, and then the second misunderstanding I used to have is, oh, the Middle East countries, they have oil, so that's why they're super rich, right? No, that's not really the case in Dubai, because Dubai has no oil. Okay, they used to hand the stock of oil, but it will only last for, let's say, 20 or 25 years. So that's why the governor of Dubai realized they cannot rely on oil forever to make money. That's why they choose to develop the city, make it a tourist spot in the world, and try to attract people from different countries come to Dubai and enjoy their holiday. That's why Dubai looks like this nowadays, because back 2 decades ago, it's still a very, very small fishing village or something like that. So you have to say they made a good decision, right? Okay, so you can see, according to TripAdvisor in 2022, they ranked Dubai as the most popular global destination for, of course, for holidays for travelers, right? And then the Economist Intelligence Unit in 2022, again, they ranked Dubai as the most luxurious city in the world. Okay, so these are all, I think, feedbacks or comments from people all over the world, and then we can see Dubai is really popular as a destination. And even during COVID, I would say the policy there in Dubai is really good. They maintain a very low infection rates, and Dubai is actually one of the first to open its border to the world during COVID. So that's very nice. And then let's say, because we're talking about hospitality, right? And of course, it will be ridiculous if you study hospitality in somewhere when the city has not too many hotels, right? So Dubai, you can see we have over 700 hotels, and nearly half of them, they're like 4 stars or 5 stars hotels. We even have like the most luxury ones, like 7-star hotels owned by the Jumeirah Group, right? So I'm going to give you more information about, job opportunities and other things later in the presentation. Okay, and right across the streets of our school campus, we already have 20+ hotels. So imagine why that's why I said like the school and Dubai, it's a good option for you if you're interested in hospitality. Okay, and then talking about visa, that's another thing people usually worried about. So when they want to apply for a school in a foreign country, right? Because it usually take you a lot of time and effort to apply for a student visa. So good news is, if you go to Dubai, no matter to study or to work, you were allowed to apply your visa after your arrival in Dubai. So usually if you get an offer from a school, the school will ask you for some very basic documents, and then using those documents, they will help you to apply for the entry permits. With this entry permits, you can already go to Dubai. And once you arrive in Dubai, the school admission officers will help you to apply for the student visa. So it's much, much easier. You don't have to worry too much before you go to Dubai. Everything will be done in Dubai when you are there already. Okay. And sometimes I think it's also good because when parents said like, okay, I miss my child, especially during COVID, they cannot go back home to see the family every year, right? So sometimes people say like, okay, can I have my parents live with me together in Dubai, right? That's very easy actually in Dubai. I'm not sure about other countries, but in Dubai, if you study there, if you work there, and you can basically help your parents apply for the residence visa. So it's like a long-term visa, usually 1 year or 2 years. So that means the whole family of yours can live in Dubai together. Actually, I think that's not usual in other countries, and I would say that's one of the advantages when we're talking about visa application. Dubai is definitely very, very flexible. Okay, so the next one we can see here about safety I mentioned, right? So Dubai.
Can I just, sorry, well, I could just jump in here, just asking for a couple of questions, I think that we usually need to clarify. So Dubai is not a city, it's not a country, it's a city. And because people usually confusing, what's the difference between Dubai and Qatar, Abu Dhabi, Arab Saudi? So Dubai is one of the city of those cities, right? Within. So
if we say Qatar and Saudi, these two, they're actually countries. So they're equal to UAE, United Arab Emirates, right? So when we say UAE, Qatar, or Saudi, these are countries, right? And then within UAE, within this country, Dubai is the second biggest Emirates, because as you can see, the country is United Arab Emirates, right? So they have different Emirates. The biggest Emirates will be Abu Dhabi. And then also Abu Dhabi is the capital city of UAE. And then and then Dubai is the second biggest city there in UAE. But also, if we're talking about like a famous, many people know Dubai, but not everyone knows about Abu Dhabi as the capital, right? And then Abu Dhabi is more like the political center rather than, like a tourist sports or economic center, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. And Qatar is a different country. Qatar, the one who just had a World Cup host, is another one. Okay.
Yeah. Right. But it's really funny because a while ago, there's the World Cup, as you mentioned, happened in Qatar, right? And then I see many videos online. People say like, okay, so because all the fans from different countries, they travel to Qatar to watch the games, right? And then many of them, they find it really difficult to book a hotel because there's suddenly too many people there, right?
We heard that.
And then and then actually, if you know the surroundings, if you know the Middle East region, you will make a smart option to book a hotel in Dubai. You live in Dubai.
So they're close to each other.
Yeah, they're very, very close to each other. And it's amazing during the World Cup time. Actually, they have, like a flight departing every 10 minutes from Dubai to Qatar. And it will take you around like 1 hour time there. Yeah, so you can make day trip if you want to, watch the games in Qatar and then leave in Dubai. You fly out and come back every day. Yeah, that's possible.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Thank you for the clarification.
No worries. Yeah. So I will continue with safety because many people wonder, in the Middle East, because of their religion, right? There are lots of, like restrictions or laws there. So the good thing is in Dubai, not everywhere you can get alcohol. So only like some, stores or bars or hotels or restaurants with a license, they can sell alcohol. So it's not really easy. For example, you go to a supermarket and you try to buy alcohol, that's not possible. Okay. So because of this, it's I think it's much safer because you won't see, you know, like lots of drunk people walking in the street try to attack you in the midnight, right? And sometimes if you have to study, if you have to work late, when you go back home, if you take, let's say, the subway, they even have a separated cabin for women and kids. So in that way, you don't feel like dangerous when you have to travel in the late nights with, you know, like a lot of other people, especially you know, like males in the same cabin, right? So I can see Dubai is trying their best to make everything in order. So if we have to compare the Dubai you know, like a safety to another, let's say, country, it's quite similar to Singapore. Okay, so the laws is really strict there, but they make the whole community much safer for everyone. Yeah. Okay, and the last thing about Dubai you need to know is the local currency. That's what we call AED there, right? So Dubai currency is fixed to US dollars. So what's so good about this? So first, before you go to Dubai, you can already calculate how much money, what's your budget you need to prepare for your study, right? Because, for example, nowadays UK is really popular because pounds are dropping, right? And then don't be happy too much. Don't be happy too early. Maybe next year the pounds will be more expensive, right? And then suddenly you find out, whoa, I need more money to support my study, right? That's out of my budget. And then imagine once you finish your study, when you find a job there in the UK, for example, and then you will feel like, okay, why pounds are so cheap? That means the salary I get is cheaper than before, right? And then all in a sudden you wish the pounds will be more expensive, because that means you will get more salary in that case when you change from pounds to back to Vietnam to your own currency, right? And then another thing is some of the parents I know, they ask me the question, like because they want to make an investment in Dubai, they want to, let's say, buy an apartment there. Sometimes maybe they want to live there with their kids, and then definitely they don't want to see maybe after 2 years the apartment is suddenly much cheaper than before when they bought the house, right? So if you make any kind of investment that's a stable investment in Dubai, it won't be suddenly much cheaper compared with, you know, like several years ago when you spend the money on it. And then the good thing is in Dubai, it's if you buy the apartments, not like a really luxury or most expensive one. If you reach a certain quarter, I mean the whole value of the apartments, then you will automatically get the residence visa. So again, if we go back to visa or immigration or any other things, I can see Dubai is trying to be as flexible as possible. Yeah, and then another good thing is there's no tax, no income tax. So sometimes when people get an offer, job offer, when they see the whole package, and then when they try to compare, like for example me, like I get one offer in China, I get one offer in Dubai, and then when I calculate the overall package I can get, usually I will forget, okay, in China it's like a 25% tax. It's like a 25% of your income tax, but in Dubai there's no tax, right? So that's also a really good thing. No matter if you work there, if you start your own company, there no tax in Dubai. Yeah, so that's why, yeah, lots of people go there. And then let's quickly go through some slides about, okay, some slides about the city. So you can see here your daily life. Okay, so the kind of apartment you can live there depends on your budget. Okay, so in Dubai, if you want to save some troubles, you can live with the school if you study there, right? And then sometimes if you like, no, I have a much higher budget, I prefer to stay by myself, have more privacy, you can rent all kinds of apartments in the city, or you can even share apartment with your friends or classmates, right? And then the food there, they have, because Dubai is quite international, so it's not only local food available. So there's like Asian food, there's, you know, like a fine dining restaurants for, you know, like a different, for example, like a French cuisine or something like that. They also have many like famous restaurants there. So
are
once
you sorry,
people,
are you
yeah.
sharing a slide, or because we don't
Yeah,
see
I'm
your
sharing the
slide.
slides, so I'm not sure if you can see my
No,
screen.
no, I don't.
Okay,
Can you
so
retry?
yeah, let me retry that. Okay. Okay, so here is the slides. Let's go back to the last one, and then we move to the next one. Okay, like this. Now you can see that, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So apartment, I just mentioned, depending on your budget, you can choose any kind of apartment there. For food, you also have lots of choices. So don't feel bad or homesick in case you feel like you cannot, you know, like find some Asian restaurants there. We basically have people from all over the world, right? So it's not difficult to find the restaurants you like, or to find, you know, like a food from your home country. Or the best part is sometimes if you're really homesick, you can even cook for yourself, because in our dormitory, we provide students kitchen in their own room, so you don't have to use like a, you know, like a shared kitchen. You have your own kitchen inside, and then if you want to invite classmates, practice your cooking skills, you can do that. And then on the screen, as you can see, on the right, that's the photos of the bus station. Okay, bus stop, it's more like. So many people knows in Dubai, it can be a little bit hot in summer, right? So sometimes if you wait for buses, they're outside, you don't want to stand just under the sunshine because that will be too hot. Then in Dubai, for every bus stop, you can wait for the bus inside the cabin, and then inside they provide you air conditioners. So it's basically no matter what's the temperature outside, it's always cozy and comfortable when you're waiting for the bus. Yeah. And then the one on the bottom, that's the cabin I mentioned for the metro underground. So when you take the underground, they have like a separate cabin for women and children only. So if you're travel home late at night, you don't have to worry too much about the safety. Okay. And then many people wonder, okay, because it's Middle East. So if I go to Dubai, do I have to, you know, cover myself like the local people like this in the photo? No, you don't have to do that. Well, I'm not sure about other Middle Eastern countries, but in Dubai, again, as it's a very, very international city, so you can basically wear whatever you want. Of course, we will suggest you to wear like a decent clothes. So for example, you know, like if you want to wear like bikini, right? Only wear bikini in the beach area, right? If you want to go swimming, enjoy the beach, enjoy the sunshine, only wear bikini around the beach area. Don't wear that, you know, like and working in the city. Okay, but apart from that, if you say like, oh, I'm a girl, I prefer to wear like a t-shirt, I want to wear like a beautiful dresses, I want to wear short skirts, that's also okay in Dubai. Yeah. So I mean, like when people are talking about Middle East, usually they have the stereotype, right? You know, like I have to cover myself. Maybe that's true in other countries due to their religion backgrounds. But in Dubai, because remember, 85% or even higher percentage of the population are from different countries. So when we're talking about the clothes, the kind of, you know, like a dress codes, you can feel free to relax a little bit and wear whatever you want. I mean, like a decent clothes in the city. Yeah. Okay. Then I have some more slides about the city. As you can see, I think Dubai is where the old or the ancient meet the modern culture, and where the Western culture meet the Eastern culture, right? So because it's more like in the center of the whole world. So you can see the very traditional part of Dubai. If you like the local culture, you can go to the old town, you can explore it, you can go buy, you know, like gold, as I said, and spices and cashmere, something like that, from the grand markets there, right? And then sometimes people say like, okay, I like, you know, more traditional like sports, because whenever we mention like a desert, Middle East, we think about camel, right? And then instead of horse racing, in Dubai they have camel racing, sorry. And then you can, you know, travel to some of the sports and watch the games, but the only concern is like you have to wake up very early because you have to travel from the city to the racing courts, right? Yeah. And then sometimes people say like, okay, I'm actually because you keep mentioning, you know, Dubai is a very international one, so I'm actually expecting a modern city, you know, like with, you know, like a the skyline, beautiful skyline, lots of, you know, shopping malls. So here you can see since 2005 they start to build a city to attract tourists all over the world. So you can see here they have lots of unique buildings. They have their CBD there in the city. And then downtown Dubai, they have lots of shopping malls. As for example, in the as you can see from the photo, Dubai Mall is actually the second largest shopping mall in the world. The governor in Dubai is quite interesting. He's very ambitious, and he always wants to be the #1. Okay, and then when they built Dubai as the city for tourists, he want to be the most popular tourism destination, right? When he built a shopping mall, he wanted to be the biggest, the largest one in the world. And nowadays, I mean, the Dubai Mall used to be the largest one, but then China built another one, you know. So the governor, the sheikh actually of Dubai, he decided to build a new one, that's Dubai Square Mall, and that will surpass Dubai Mall very soon and become the biggest shopping mall in the world again. So they're trying to get the #1 back. And then you can see here, when we're talking about buildings, I know everybody, when you're thinking about Dubai, it's all kinds of very unique designed buildings, right? And when I say the sheikh always want to be #1, here is the tallest building in the world, Burj Khalifa. Yes. So and he's never satisfied, to be honest. So even if he already got the #1, the tallest, you know, the tallest building in Dubai, he's still building another one, try to, you know, like surpass himself. So once ready, the Dubai Creek Tower will surpass Burj Khalifa and become the tallest building in the world in Dubai.
How tall this would be?
I don't have idea at this moment, but I can check for you and share with you the details. Yes. Okay. And then let's see. So we talk a little bit more about, you know, like Dubai, the history, you know, the traditional cultures, everything. But remember, we also mentioned about innovation. So Dubai is not only about the past, it's also about the future. So it's, as you can see here, we have the Museum of the Future opening already. I mean, I think last year in April. So when we all usually mention museums, when you go to the museum, everything you can see in the museum, it's all about the future, right? But sorry, about the past, if you go to, you know, any other countries. But the unique point about Museum of the Future in Dubai is they're displaying things or ideas about, you know, like people planning to do, what people planning to manufacture in the future. Yes, for example, like robots, AI. So that's also a very good place to offer you a glance of like how our future will be. And that's why we call Dubai, usually it's also an innovation center with the support of different international companies there.
Yep.
Okay, and then if you like in your spare time, if you're outdoor kind of a person, you like go to like theme parks, you like to explore different kinds of sports in Dubai, you can do. So just bear in mind, in Dubai you have lots of options. So only theme parks, we already have more than 13 theme parks there, right? As you can see, that's the Flowery World, we have Legoland, Bollywood Park, lots of things there. And then sometimes people say like, okay, I really want to try those like really exciting, like a challenging sports. Sometimes when people mention that, it's usually about like rock climbing, right? It's about like desert surfing, something like that. And then if you're a little bit lazy, you don't want to travel all that way to the desert or to the mountains for hiking, climbing, you can actually do that right in the city center. As you can see inside Dubai, they use like the top buildings or other things, shopping malls, to provide lots of facilities. You can try and do sports there. And then, for example, this one, like it's like an indoor ski resorts, so you don't have to travel all the way to the mountainside and wait only for winter to ski. You can actually ski all over the year because it's available in all 4 seasons, right? And then it's really, really big inside one of the shopping mall. Yeah, so that's like also all kinds of things we can do. And again, it depends on your personal interest, what you like to do in Dubai, and depends on your budget, what you want to try in Dubai. It's all the students I met there in Dubai, none of them they ever complained it's a boring city, because there's always so many things they can do there, right? Yeah. Okay, so this is something about Dubai, and if you're interested, you can search for more information online to know more about the city. The next part, I'm going to give you a general introduction of the school, okay? And then I'm going to give you the background of the school. So, for example, here on the photo, you can see that's the entrance. That's one side, like the big entrance of one of our teaching buildings. Yeah, and then you can see 3 logos there. So of course, the first one, the Emirates Academy of Hospitality Management, that's our school, right? And then the school belongs to Jumeirah Group. That's the second logo. So Jumeirah Group is the luxury hotel chain store group in Dubai, right? And then overall around the world, they have more than, more than 20 hotels in different countries. A majority of them are in the Middle East region, but they also have hotels in very famous tourist centers. For example, they have a hotel in cities like London. They have hotels in like Bali, in Maldives, in Spain, in Italy. So it's a very big hotel group. And then the Jumeirah Group is also under Dubai Holding. And then what's Dubai Holding? Dubai Holding is actually a state-owned company there in Dubai. And the CEO is the Sheikh, the governor of Dubai. So when people ask like, okay, so is your school a private school or a public school? It's a little bit difficult to describe, because when we say it's belong to Jumeirah Group, it sounds like a private school, right? But Jumeirah Group is also part of Dubai Holding, and under Dubai Holding they have not only us, but they also have like the Emirates airline. They have lots of other things. So most importantly, it's a government-owned company. So in that way, we can say we're also a public school, right? So you don't have to worry too much if it's like a dodgy school or like some school you never heard about. Okay, And then talking about the faculty team or the management team we have, it's also highly international. As you can see on the screen, we have our managing director from Holland. We have our dean, he's more on the academic side. He's from France, okay? We have our director, we have our director of operation from Dubai. She's local. And when I talk with her, she's like, she will be the best person to support our students in their daily life, because she's local and she's willing to share her own culture with students from all over the world, right? So she will be the most friendly and supportive person in the school. You can ask for help from. And then you will see our program manager. He's also from Holland, study in the UK, and then he will actually be the first one our students meet, because he will do the admission interviews with all students. So if you were confident, if you have done lots of let's say after class activities, if you've won lots of prizes, if you're interested to apply for a scholarship, try to impress him during the interview, right? Because he's the one who will make a final decision whether we can give you an offer or not. Okay, and the last one, the lady, she's from Romania. Okay, and she's I would say one of the most important person, because she's in charge of providing career supports, connect you with local hotels or companies, try to arrange the internship or help you find a good job in the future. So as you can see, the whole team is highly international. So you don't have to worry too much. Oh, what if when I go there in Dubai and I feel like difficult to get along with the teachers or ask for support from the staff, because basically the campus itself already provides very international environments, and then of course it's actually quite friendly for our international students to get all kinds of supports from them. Okay, and then some of the details about the school. So we are the first hospitality university in the Middle East region. Sometimes people want to know about the rankings of the school. Okay, so we, by the QS World University rankings, we are ranked #1 in the Middle East region for hospitality and leisure management. And then educations.com also ranked us as world's top 10 hospitality schools. So that means if you were interested in hospitality, if you're interested in something related to hospitality, even if that's a different industry, we are one of the best choices you can have in the world. Okay, and then we have different international accreditations. So of course we have our own accreditation from the Ministry of Education in the UAE, right? And then we are recognized by the ICE. So that's Australian accreditation. For it's like the full name is like an International Center of Excellence in Tourism and Hospitality Management Education, right? And then the last one we get, last accreditation, that's Institutes of Hospitality. So that's a UK accreditation. So with all these accreditations, that means once you graduate, you can feel free to work, okay, if you want to stay in Dubai, in the Middle East region, or you want to travel to, for example, the UK, Europe, or you want to go to Australia, New Zealand, your degree will be widely recognized. Okay, and then that means it will be easy for you to find a job there. Okay, and then talking about employment percentage, please notice that 97% of our undergraduate students at the moment when they graduate, 90% of them, they already have job offers on hand. Yeah, so that's a very, very high percentage, I have to say. And I think the rest of 3% students, most of them, they just pursue a further education, either in Dubai or in another country. Yeah, so this is about undergraduate students. And then sometimes people ask me the question, okay, why it's only undergraduate? Why you don't mention, like MBA students? What happened to MBA students, right? So the good thing is with our MBA program, students can already work full-time in the daytime, and they only need to take their courses in our school 3 nights in the evening every week. Okay, so that means there's nothing about employment percentage for the MBA students, because when they're studying, they're already working full-time, they already got a job. So usually they have to arrive to Dubai first, and then with the support from our career center, the teachers will help them to find a daytime, full-time job in Dubai. Usually the average time will be like within 1 month, they can get a job. But what kind of job you can get depends on your background. How's your English level, right? What's your working experience before? Have you got any kind of experience in this industry? So depending on that, different students might find different kind of full-time job there in Dubai. Yeah, sure. So this is about MBA students. Okay, and then we have alumni in like lots of different countries, as you can see here, more than 60 countries all over the world, and they're actually working in more than 100 companies in different industries. So when we're talking about hospitality later, when we're mentioning about the job opportunities, once you study hospitality management, it's not only about hotels. You also have lots of other options. That's something I will explain later. Okay, then in the school, we provide boutique classroom size. So usually in one class, you will have 10 to 15 students altogether. So I think in that way, the teachers will have much more attention on every student and help you to improve a lot, right? We have guaranteed paid internship for undergraduate students. So you can not only choose hotels under Jumeirah Group, we also have more than 200 industry partners you can choose to work with.
And this guaranteed.
Yeah, we have a table later I will share in the career opportunity part. Sure. Yeah, so people will have a look at what kind of partners we have. Yeah, and then we are, as a school, maybe we don't have a very long history, but as a hospitality management school, we're definitely experts in this field. And then we have more than 20 years kind of experience. That means at a very early stage, when the Jumeirah Group founded, they already think about they need to have a school, and they need to like see what kind of a talent they can provide to this whole industry. So that's how usually we say, like, with the support from the Jumeirah Group, even if we have not like a quite long history, we are doing very, very excellent in this industry. When we're talking about hospitality education, yeah, and let alone the multicultural environment. It's not only the student body, but also the faculty members, right? We just mentioned. And when I talk with our students, I ask them the questions like, oh, what do you like about the school? What you don't like about the school? And all of them, they mentioned about the student body. It's really international, so they can learn a lot from each other. That's a really good thing. If you, for example, I have students from the US, they say like, okay, if they study in a university in the US, most of them, they will be local people, right? And then same thing happen if they go to Europe, most of the students will be like from European countries. But here in Dubai, it's really, really international, because it's not only about Europe, it's not only about US, it's about like Asia, it's about Middle East, about Africa, about like Australia, New Zealand, right? So basically you can find students from all kinds of countries here in Dubai. Yeah. Okay, and then sometimes people say like, okay, talking about hospitality education, the first thing come to their mind is Switzerland, right? Because Switzerland schools, they have the they're like a very good reputation about hospitality education, right? So I would say if you are interested in hospitality, of course you have different kind of options, but there are a lot of factors you need to consider. And after you do your research, you will find out our school in Dubai is actually one of the best options you can have, because let's say of course, you need to check about the tuition fee, right? And of course, I think our tuition fee will be much cheaper if you compare with the Switzerland, like schools, right? And then living costs, of course, in Dubai, I think the overall living cost will also be cheaper than, for example, Europe, Australia, or the US, right? Safety, I just mentioned. In Dubai, it's a very, very safe community. I used to work for schools in the UK and US, and usually, parents ask me lots of questions about safety. They're afraid of, gunshots in the US. They're afraid of, like a robbery or any other things, or attacking by, drunk people in the streets in the UK. But these kind of things will never happen in Dubai. Yeah, so that's why we're very confident to say, talking about safety, we're actually, we have the best records. Job placements, I just mentioned, remember you're starting hospitality. If you were interested in hotels, in Dubai, within this one city, they have more than 700 hotels, right? Half of them, they're 4 stars, 5 stars, let alone the kind of, partners we have with the school. So that means you have lots of choices. And then again, for undergraduate students, 97% of them, they already hold a job offer before they graduate, right? So that's a very, very amazing data, I have to say. Location, our campus is located in the city center. So sometimes students say they're tired of study in some, let's say, university town far away from city center, and then they have to travel all the way during weekends to the city, and just to watch movie or do some shopping. It's not really convenient, right? But here in Dubai with our school, I'm going to share with you later, our location is excellent. Okay, and visa policy, I'm going to pause this one because I've already mentioned that a lot. The flexibility, so easy to apply for a visa for yourself and even for your family, right? And then nowadays, Dubai has the golden visa. So instead of giving you 1 year or 2 year visa, if you meet some kind of qualification, you can check online, basically just a search golden visa in Dubai. They can automatically give you like a 5 years or 10 years visa. So that's very, very convenient. Culture exchange, of course, if you fancy, the Western culture, and then sometimes people will choose UK, US, or Europe, right? But as I mentioned, Dubai is really international. So if you come to Dubai, you have classmates from the Western countries, from Asian countries, from Africa, from Middle East. So basically, you can learn not only the Western culture, but you can also have a taste of many other cultures. And why that's very important, because later, when you graduate, when you find a job, maybe your boss is from Russia, okay? Maybe your customer is from Africa. And then if you know the culture, it will be like a very, very easy for you to work together with your boss, with your colleagues, and then it will also be easy for you to develop a business with your customers and provide a good customer service, right? Yeah, so that's something really nice. And then back to one thing I forgot to mention, back to job placements. If most of the time when people study in Europe, for example, Switzerland, for hospitality, and they want to stay there, find a job, it's quite difficult because if you want to stay there, there's like a visa problem, right? Yeah. And then there's also, they want you to speak 1 or 2 extra European language. So if you don't speak French, if you don't speak German, it will be very difficult for you to stay in Switzerland and find a good job there. But it's not the problem in Dubai, because English is one of the official language there in Dubai. So if you're okay with English, then you will be fine to find a good job, right? Yeah. Last one about traveling. I put it here for my personal interest because I like traveling a lot for personal holidays. And imagine if you're based in Dubai, it's very, very easy for you to go come back to Asia because it's like in the middle between the East and the West, right? So if you want to come back to Asia or visiting other Asian countries, you can take a short trip back. If you want to travel to Europe, to UK, it's also very quickly. It's like 7 or 8 hours. But imagine if you starting in Europe, every time when you come back to Asia, that's a long journey, right? Or when you fly to, you know, like Australia, many other countries, other parts of the world, it's not really convenient. So even for personal holidays, I think Dubai is a very good location. That's why it attracts people from all over the world, because it's also convenient to travel from other countries to Dubai, right? Okay, so I will go quickly and show you some other things about the programs. Okay, so as you can see, we have an undergraduate program. You might notice it's the degree you can get, that's Bachelor of Business Administration and the Master of Business Administration, right? So that means after your graduation, hotels is not your only choice. Okay, so for the bachelor courses, it's overall 3 years. Every year we have 3 terms. So basically, if we go to the next slide, you can see what kind of courses you're going to study. The first year is like basic knowledge and skills you need if you work in a hotel in different departments, right? So you learn the knowledge and you learn the skill. And the second year, you have the chance to practice that through internship. So when you start the second year, you will do, every one of you were guaranteed to do a 6 months paid internship. And during this time, your employer, that's hotels, right? So the hotels will cover your meals, they will cover your accommodation, they will cover, some of them, they will cover the transportation. So basically during the internship period, you don't have to spend any money, but you get salaries, right? So the internship is actually a very, very good test to see if you really like the hotel industry, right? Sometimes after the internship, people feel like, oh, I really like enjoying my internship. I like working in hotels. And then moving forward in trimester 6, you can see it's all about electives, right? And then if you decide to stay in the hotel industry, you choose the electives related to hospitality, to hotels, okay? But sometimes it will happen after you try the internship, you feel like, no, I don't like hospitality. I don't like working at hotels, right? And then in that case, remember, it's a Bachelor of Business Administration degree. So when you have the chance to choose the electives, you can choose the courses more related to business, right? And then in the year 3, we are never satisfied to provide you very, very basic knowledge. So basically, in the last year, you're going to study something related to management. And then we want to prepare you for the future promotion, because no matter which company you work for in the future, you don't want to stay in the very, very junior role forever, right? You want to get promotion. You want to step into the management team. And these are the skills and knowledges you will need for promotion. Okay, and then you can see here in the next slide, these are the courses and electives courses you can choose. So for example, when I mentioned, oh, I really like the hotel industry, I want to stay there. And then when you choose the electives, you can choose something like, you know, club and resort management, right? You can choose something like a MICE, all right? But like a front office management. But if you don't really like it, you want to explore the opportunity in other business industries, then you can choose something like a business law, right? You can choose something like a quality management. You can choose something of like a social media management, and that will give you a lot of, you know, like other opportunities later once you graduate, to find a good position, a good job in other industries. Yeah. Okay. Requirements for bachelor programs, it's very, very easy. We check two things. First, academic performance. So you can check basically according to the curriculum you follow, whether it's like a UK or US or international ones or local ones. So basically we are expecting people who have a GPA of around 70% or grade C as the GPA from the transcript. Yeah. And then for English, because hospitality requires lots of communication with your team members, with your clients. So for a bachelor program, minimum, we want you to have 5.5 IELTS or 71 TOEFL. I personally think that's not like a super, super high requirement, but if sometimes if you have slight, you know, like a difficulty to achieve this kind of English level, for example, you only have IELTS 5.0, right? We might conditionally accept you, but the condition will be like within the first 3 months, we want you to, for example, study with us and achieve a GPA 70% to prove your English level is good enough to understand all the courses and catch up with the courses, right? So this is something we will assess case by case, but overall, we want you to have 70% GPA and 5.5 English. If your English is much lower, for example, you only have like 4.5, then we also have our English courses available for you to study, yeah, before you officially start the bachelor or MBA course. Okay. And then for MBA, it's a 1-year course. And as I mentioned, all these courses only happened in the evening, 3 nights every week. You have to study in our school, and in the daytime, you can work full time. And these are the subjects you're going to study. And once you finish the subjects, because as you can see, there's like altogether 9 subjects, right, within this whole year. Once you finish these subjects, and you say like, oh, I want to go back to Vietnam, I want to travel to other countries, or I got a job offer in the UK, that's no problem. You can you know, like finish your postgraduate thesis remotely. When you're in Vietnam, when you're in other countries, you can communicate with your professor online and then finish the paper later. So you don't have to stay in Dubai forever to work on your graduate paper. Once you finish all these subjects, you are free to go anywhere and then complete your graduate paper online. Yes, so that's quite flexible. Requirements, because it's MBA, so it's slightly higher than the bachelor course, right? So for MBA, we are expecting, if you're from the local curriculum, we're expecting a GPA around 75%. But of course, the higher the better. So same as, you know, like the language requirements, we want you to have a 6.0 for IELTS or 79 for TOEFL. The higher the better, because I would say the higher GPA and higher English level you have, that means more opportunities for you to find a good job in Dubai for your daytime work, right? And then the higher English level, the higher GPA you have, that means the better chance for you to get a scholarship from our school, right? So the scholarship will also be assessed case by case. If you're interested, when you apply for the program, you have to fill a scholarship form. So the teachers will assess everything all together. And then I will basically provide more details to Tam. So just in case in future you have any students interested in scholarship, you know how to apply for that. Yeah. And then talking about working experience. So most of the business school, when they offer the MBA program, they require students must have like a several years working experience, right? With our school, we ideally want you to have minimum 1 year work experience, but this can be internship. This can be volunteer experience, okay? So for example, you are a fresh graduate from the university. You've only done some kind of, internship during your summer holiday or winter holiday. That's also fine. That also counts as your work experience. So that's why we have, like a wide range of, like a student for MBA. Some of them, they just graduate from schools at their 20s. Some of them, they're like more than, like older than 40 years with lots of experience in different industries. So that's the good part about the MBA, because people can learn from each other, right? Yes. So that's the requirements for MBA and undergraduate program. And also we provide English program if your English is slightly lower than our requirements. Okay. And then I will skip this video because this is something you already seen when you first enter this meeting room about our schools, right? The next part, I'm going to show you the facility of the school very quickly. So you have an idea, oh, if you go to Dubai, if you study with the school, what kind of a campus life you will have, right? So here on the picture, you can see that's a part of our campus, and it's right opposite to the iconic Sailing Boat Hotel, which is also one of the hotel under the Jumeirah group. Okay, so it's like a within working distance. And then along the beach, actually, something you can see here, like this building, like this one, they all belong to the Jumeirah group. Actually, the whole, if you move forward and look at the map here, the whole district here in Dubai is called the Jumeirah district. Okay, so we have several circles here. You can see the up there, that's the international airport. From the airports, if you take a taxi to our school, it's like within 30 minutes. Okay, and then in the middle, there's a circle, that's Burj Khalifa. Remember, Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world, right? Yep. And Burj Khalifa is at the same place with Dubai Mall. So Dubai Mall is the second largest shopping mall in the world. So Burj Khalifa and Dubai Mall, that's kind of downtown Dubai. And then if you travel from our school to Burj Khalifa, that will take you around like within 20 minutes. So it's all very, very convenient, and it will be faster if you take the subway, of course, right? And then the biggest circle here, that's our campus. And then Burj Al Arab, that's the Sailing Boats Hotel, right opposite to our campus. And as I mentioned, this region is called the Jumeirah region. So you can see like the Jumeirah group, they have they're quite big in Dubai as a company, right? And if you go there and if you see like the photos here, sometimes people ask me the question, okay, so the yellow square, that's our campus, and the red circle, that's the Sailing Boat Hotel, right? So it's like within working distance. And sometimes people wonder why, like when you show me the photos, lots of tall buildings in Dubai, right? But around this region, why the buildings look very not tall enough? Like they're like mostly 2 floors or 3 floors, right? So the reason why we don't have tall buildings around the campus is because this region in Dubai is the luxury hotel and resort region. And also because the Sheikh, the governor of Dubai, lives in the Jumeirah district. So for his safety, they don't allow, tall buildings. So all those other buildings should never be taller than his palace there in Jumeirah district. That's why around the beach you can see mainly the buildings are, like a very very short there. But that's a good thing, because that means you can see the nice sea view. Nothing will be blocked by tall buildings, right? Yeah. And then inside the school, our teaching halls, you can see here, it's a very traditional Arabic kind of building here. This is one of the entrance we have inside of one of the buildings. So as you can see, this is somewhere if you go study every day, you go through these reception and then, you know, go to different kind of classrooms. We have very modern facilities too. So for example, if we sometimes do, for example, like media management, something like that, we go to different kind of classrooms like this with lots of modern facilities. And then usually if you want to do some kind of a group projects, or it's more like a data analysis or some kind of, you know, like business related courses, we have the innovation hub. So you can use, you know, different kind of, you know, facilities here. You can discuss with your classmates. You can even, you know, make a presentation, or sometimes we invite our guest speakers coming to give speeches. So we have this kind of a classroom. Okay, and then remember I mentioned about boutique size classroom, right? So your standard classroom will be like this on the photos. So usually 10 to 15 students in one classroom. It will never be like super big. And in this case, the teachers will take care of every one of our students and help them to catch up with their study. We also have our event hall down there. As you can see, usually we use that when we have guest speakers from different companies, or we have HR officer from like hotels or partner companies. We have our library, as you can see here, also in this on the screen. So people can, if they want to, you know, do some research, find some kind of documents, they can always go to the library. Yeah. And then because we're a hospitality school, so you have to take the culinary arts and F&B trainings, right? Inside the campus, we have around 4 to 5 different restaurants you can use either for your daily meals or for practice. So our students actually use one of the restaurants to practice their like cooking skills, their serving skills, and there's every turn there's a certain time the students will run the restaurant by themselves, and we will open the restaurant to the public. So they can invite their friends, they can invite their parents coming, and then from, you know, like from like a frontline serving to back office, like in the kitchen cooking or prepare all the foods, that will be done all by our students. Not the chef or the other staff. Yeah, so this is something very nice, because when you need to do practice, you have the facility on site. Yeah, and then student dormitory. Remember I mentioned if you want to have a convenient life, you can live inside the campus instead of live outside and have your own apartments, right? So we provide everyone your own room. You don't have to share your room with your classmates. So it's like a single studio room, and inside the room you have everything. So you have, of course, closet, you have your bed, you have desk, table, TV, Wi-Fi, right? You even have your whole kitchen, as you can see here in the picture. So sometimes if you want to cook, you can basically do that all by yourself. You don't have to, you know, go out and share a kitchen with others. You can also do laundry. We provide free laundry service inside our dormitory. Sometimes it's like maybe sometimes if you want to, you know, like do the laundry for your suits or other things, we will collect and do the laundry all together with the you know, like the junior group with the customers' clothes together. In that way, you can only get your clothes back maybe once every week. But if you use the washing machine in the dormitory, then basically that's for free. You can use that anytime you want. Okay. Yeah. And then about daily life, here are some of the restaurants we have inside the campus. There are different styles. For example, this one's like the second floor cafe, that kind of thing. And then outside there's a balcony. You can enjoy yourself and, you know, like have gatherings with your classmates or friends. And then we have this one. This is more like Western restaurant next to the swimming pool. So sometimes during the holiday, if you want to, like chill a little bit at the swimming pool, and you can always get some snacks or drinks from this restaurant because it's really convenient. And then the facilities we have for your daily life after class, you can see the swimming pool, you can see the gym room. It's 24 hours open to students for free. We have a tennis court, we have basketball courts, we have a students' event room, everything you can do inside the campus. So for example, this is like the gym room inside. So because it's 24 hours open, so you don't have to, fight for the instruments you want to use with other people, because it won't be super crowded. We have the swimming pool in the middle of the campus. So we also have our like a lifeguard there. So don't worry too much if it's safe or not. And then you can basically feel free to enjoy it anytime if you don't have classes. Yeah. And then we have like a basketball and tennis courts there. So if you feel like to have a match, with your classmates or even with your teachers, you can feel free to book it. And then all these facilities, they're for free. Yeah. And then we also have the rooftop area, as I mentioned. So here are some photos of the rooftop. You can feel free to, just mingle with your classmates, with your friends. And then sometimes when we have, like a movie night or pizza night, we also do it there at the rooftop. Okay. And then in the end, let me show you another video about the school, and let's hear what the teachers and what the like a hotel HR says about the school and our students. Okay, so I hope I'm not really like talking too much about the school and the programs. And then the last part here we have is about the job opportunities, basically career development for hospitality students, right? So I personally think this is the most important part because previously, lots of students I talk with, they all have this kind of misunderstanding. They feel like, okay, hospitality is all about, working at hotels, right? But not really. If you check this chat, you can see basically hospitality management is about hotels. It's about events. It's about, luxury services, travel, tourism, food service, and others, many others. Yeah. So of course, after your internship, if you want to stay in hotels, they have different departments actually you can choose. So for example, front office, housekeeping, but they also have sales and marketing, right? They also have finance, revenue management. So these are all related to business. That's why we make our degree, the bachelor or master of business administration instead of hospitality management. That means you have lots of potential to develop and explore the business world, right? Then, for example, events, that's a very huge range for events. So for example, a girl asked me, she said, okay, I really like, like the pop stars. I like the K-pop. So do you think there's any chance for me to work in a company and get close in that, like K-pop industry or something like that? And then I say, like, why not? Because, out there are companies helping, superstars organize their concerts. Right? So there's like a concert tour all over the world. And then, of course, it's not really like the pop star, they arrange that by themselves, right? So if you work for this kind of companies, of course, you will be closer to, like the whole, like K-pop community, right? And then the other girl, she asked me, like, she said she's a big fan for Disney. Okay, so she said, like, okay, is there any chance for me to work, for Disneyland or maybe Disney company for the entertainment part, like movies and other things? And I think, like, why not? Because if you study hospitality, you already got the knowledge about event planning, about, general management, about data analysis, about marketing, right? So with this kind of backgrounds, you're the perfect candidate to work for, Disneyland, because Disney also have their resorts. Disney also need to plan lots of events in their theme park, right? And then these are all, questions about girls. Like for guys, for example, there's a boy. He said, like, he's good at playing sports. Okay, he's good at playing basketball. And then if he study hospitality, what kind of a job opportunities he have? And I say, like, have you ever imagined maybe you can work for MBA, right? Because MBA, they have their branch offices in different countries. And then under MBA, it's not only, just a sportsman. They have their marketing department. They have their, like event planning department. They have their finance department. So with your background, it's actually a perfect job for you, right? And then let alone sometimes, let's say, according to the data we have, the MBA students of ours, actually only half of them, they work in like the hotel industry. Another half, they're actually working in like over hundreds, different companies in different industries. So it all depends on you. I mean, the school, the major you study, we provide you a platform, okay? And towards which direction you want to go to, and for how far you can go to, depends on you yourself, your personal interest, your strengths, your skills, right? So study hospitality management can give you lots of options in the future. And let's see, the kind of support we provide, of course, our teachers will help you to shape your personal statements, to polish your CV, to practice your public speaking skills, to help connect you with different kind of like local companies or hotels or with our partners, right? And from time to time, We invite guest speakers. We invite, HR officers to our schools to communicate with our students. So you can learn a lot about their company, about their industry, and you can decide whether this is the kind of, option you want to take for your internship or for your future job. Yes, and then for the internship placement, every undergraduate student, you were guaranteed 6 months paid internship. And afterwards, you will write a report. And most importantly, you try, many people, when they're talking about career, they don't really know what they want to do. And the easiest way is you try to figure out what you don't want to do, right? So by doing this internship, sometimes you might say like, oh, I really want to stay in this hotel industry. But if not, then as I mentioned, when you choose the elective courses, try to choose something more about the general business. And then in that way, you have more opportunities to explore other industries in the future when you graduate, right? And then if you want to stay in the hotel industry, I will show you some data. Okay. So this is the data by American Hotel Lodging Association, which is like a very, very professional association organization in this hospitality industry. So according to them, by the start of 2023, employment in hotels is expected to fully recover to almost like 93% of pre-pandemic. So don't worry too much about COVID, because the hotel industry is recovering and they need lots of talent, okay? And then also in year 2021, again, according to the same organization, in their survey, they mentioned like 94% of the hotels, they're understaffed. So that means they need more and more new staff. They will hire new people, right? And 47% are severely understaffed. So that's where you can see the demand in this industry. 96% of the hotels say they're trying to hire, but they cannot find, like a suitable candidate. So imagine if you study hospitality management, if you have the right knowledge and the right skills they want, it won't be difficult for you to find a job, right? And then partners we have, as I mentioned, we have more than 200 industry partners. But because I don't want to make like, endless slides about showing all the partners. So here are some of the famous partners we have here. As you can see, of course, Jumeirah, because we belong to Jumeirah, right? But apart from Jumeirah, we also have, like famous hotels, like Hilton, like Four Seasons, like Marriott. And then not only about hotels, you can also work as, some companies like Expedia, we also have a partnership with like Dubai Airport, with Emirates airline, something like that, right? So that means lots and lots different opportunities we have, and we can connect you with all these partners. That's why we can easily reach 97% employment rates for our undergraduate students. Yes. Okay. In the last, I want to end this presentation with one final video. So this one is about Jumeirah Group, because our school is part of a Jumeirah Group. So I would like to give you the idea about Jumeirah Group, and we welcome all the students in the future if we are lucky enough to have you joining our school, and then you can feel what it looks like become a member of Jumeirah. Yes. Okay, so we hope someday you will join us. So that's the end of my presentation. Sorry. And then the last part will be Q&A session. So if you have any questions, feel free to just type in the chat box, or maybe you can just ask directly. I will see what I can do to answer all these questions. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you very much for your information. I think that's very mind-opening for a lot of us and students, we believe. And I consider we already have some question here in the chat box. We're actually running a bit over time, so I would just try to combine the questions if they are somehow similar. So I think you see we have 3 questions. First one from one of the students. Any in-campus part-time jobs for students, for international students to be really precise? And if yes, how many hours a week international students qualify for? So you offer part-time jobs on campus?
We do not offer on-campus part-time jobs because we can offer much better job options for our students if they want to work part-time. So it will be our our career support department will help our students if they're willing to work part-time. It's only for undergraduate because, as you can see, MBA, they work full-time already, right? So when we're talking about part-time, it's only for undergraduate students. And then they, according to the law, for undergraduate students, because their major focus should also be their study, right? So every week maximum they can work for like 20 hours. Yeah, for part-time job. And then depends on what kind of job they can find. Of course, our career supports team will help them connect with the partners we have. So I would say, like, in campus, we don't offer any kind of part-time jobs because the kind of part-time job we can offer is actually much better outside the campus, and it will be close to our campus because, as I mentioned, right, opposite to our school, there's already 20 hotels, 20 plus hotels. And some of the hotels or partners, they might, depending on the employer, they might provide a transportation service. Yeah, so even if you live inside the campus, it's very convenient for you to travel to the employer and work part-time there. Yeah.
So the master students are allowed to work full-time, while the undergrads are allowed to do up to 20 hours per week. Yeah.
Usually for undergraduate students, that's after class in the evening or during the weekends when they want to work part-time. Yeah.
I'll quickly answer in Vietnamese. Anh trả lời luôn câu hỏi các bạn Đặng Anh Tú. Đặng Anh Tú hỏi là học sinh có thể tìm việc ở trong cái khuôn viên của trường hay không, và học sinh quốc tế thì làm việc được bao nhiêu giờ một tuần. Cô Water vừa trả lời, như bạn cũng đã hiểu. Anh chỉ muốn làm rõ lại là nếu các bạn học ở chương trình cử nhân, tức là chương trình đại học đó, undergrad, bachelor đó, thì các bạn sẽ làm việc được tối đa là 20 giờ một tuần. Cũng khá là giống với một số đất nước khác khi mà sinh quốc tế được phép làm việc. Tuy nhiên ở tại Dubai và tại Emirates thì đối với lại sinh viên học chương trình thạc sĩ sau đại học hay là master đó, thì các bạn sẽ làm việc toàn thời gian, các bạn không bị giới hạn cái giờ làm của mình. Và ở tại Emirates nói riêng thì nhà trường không có cái việc cho sinh viên quốc tế ở trong trường. Nhưng mà vì như các bạn cũng đã nghe cô chia sẻ là trường Emirates là thuộc tập đoàn Emirates, một tập đoàn rất là lớn, cho nên là họ có thừa những cái công việc khác ở những cái khách sạn, những cái khu du lịch, những cái khu bất động sản ở xung quanh Dubai cho sinh viên quốc tế, nhưng mà cũng không cần đến cái việc ở trường. Các bạn có thể đăng ký để làm công việc mà tập đoàn Emirates có cho sinh viên quốc tế. Hy vọng là cái phần vừa rồi thì đã làm rõ câu hỏi của bạn là Anh Tú. Tiếp theo chúng ta sẽ có câu hỏi của bạn Lữ Lâm Oanh. Second question is, I mean, I'm going to combine it with one of the other question in regard to visa. Right, so we know that the schools in Emirates going to prepare and apply for the visa for Vietnamese students for international students specific. So would you please go through, like, highlight some of the requirements, financial requirements, which is we need to be a bit more clarify on that. And for students who self-sponsor, like you don't have any sponsor, but they self finance their studies, what they need to know and what need to be noted.
Okay, so basically there's no specific, like documents required for students to prove their financial status. So before they go to the school, what we might collect from students is, of course, their passports, their the documents they need, they already supplied for their application. And then as I mentioned, of course, why we don't worry about the finance status, because when we prepare the entry permit for our students, they are required to already paid for their first term tuition fee, and then for paid for their accommodation, and then also if they choose to eat on campus with us, they're also required to pay for the meal plan, something like that. So they basically have to pay everything for the first term
first semester.
Yeah, for first term, because nowadays we have like 3 terms per year, right? So the first term, that means like the first 3 months, they pay everything for the first 3 months, and then our school will prepare the entry permits, and then once they come to the school, they do apply for their student on Dubai, and nothing too special they need to provide there. The admission officer will provide more guidance with the school, with the students. Yes, yeah, and then usually entrance... for a student, yeah. And I can see the student also ask for how long they're allowed to stay there, right? So of course, when we apply for student visa, usually according to it depends on your program, right? So for example, if it's only like a 1-year MBA, we give you 1-year student visa, right? And then the good thing about visa in Dubai is like, for example, once you finished your study and then you find a job, and then you try to switch from student visa to your work visa, right? You don't have to travel back to Vietnam and apply from Vietnam and then enter the border again. You can basically switch from student visa to work visa within Dubai. So because a student visa and work visa, they all under the residence visa. That's what we call the residence visa. Yeah, then usually when you switch to the work visa, according to your employer, usually they will give you 1-year or 2-year visa. I think that's most of the time that's based on the contract you signed with the company, right? Yeah. So again, if we're talking about visa, it's quite flexible. Yeah. But if students want more information later, I can send to G-Connect. And then you can just explain to students, see what kind of details they need to pay attention. And for scholarship, I will also send you the scholarship application form. So if students think I have a very high GPA, I have a good English, I'm confident I can get the scholarship, right? So at the same time, when they apply for the program, they fill the scholarship application form. They need to provide two extra from their teachers, and then they need to provide a CV to state out what kind of after-class activities they have done. Yeah, so the faculty team will assess everything all together before they can make a final decision. Yeah, and the scholarship will be up to 30% of the tuition fee, depending on how good the student it is. Yeah. Okay, let's see if there's any other.
Sorry, someone just wrote there.
Yeah, no. Let's see if there's any other questions.
Sure, I need to explain to in
Okay.
Vietnamese.
Yeah.
Cô Water vừa trả lời câu hỏi của bạn Lữ Lâm Oanh và cũng là câu hỏi của bạn Em Vũ luôn về cái quy định khi mà các bạn xin visa. Có một cái điểm rất là khác biệt mà mình cần làm rõ đây là đối với lại Dubai nói riêng và trường Emirates thì cái hồ sơ xin visa du học của các bạn sẽ được kiểm soát và thực hiện bởi nhà trường để họ có thể xin phép lãnh sự đại sứ quán của Dubai, tức là của UAE đó, cho sinh viên Việt Nam. Tức là một cách đơn giản thì sẽ không yêu cầu về chứng minh tài chính, nhưng các bạn sẽ phải đóng cái tiền học của cái term, một cái term đây là 3 tháng, tiền học, tiền ăn ở. Nếu các bạn chọn là các bạn ăn ở trong trường thì các bạn đóng cái 3 tháng đó và nhà trường sẽ chuẩn bị cái phần xin, nó gọi là cái entrance permit, tức là cái giấy phép các bạn có thể đến Dubai cho mình. Sau đó thì cái câu hỏi về cái độ visa học sinh đó, nó có cái thời hạn là bao lâu đó thì nó sẽ tùy thuộc vào cái chương trình học của các bạn. Nếu như các bạn đăng ký học chương trình cử nhân 3 năm thì cái visa của mình sẽ là 3 năm, và chương trình thạc sĩ cũng sẽ như vậy, tương đương với lại cái độ dài của cái thời gian của chương trình. Thạc sĩ là 1 năm. Đối với lại Dubai và đối với các nước cái nước UAE nói riêng này thì khi các bạn học xong và các bạn tìm được công việc ở Dubai thì các bạn có thể xin cái visa ở lại làm việc và các bạn xin ở ngay tại Dubai luôn, bạn không cần phải quay về Việt Nam để làm cái thủ tục đó. Đó cũng là một cái điểm mà chúng ta thấy là nó sẽ thuận tiện hơn nhiều. Về phần câu hỏi của anh Vũ về chương trình về cái chính sách học bổng, thì các bạn sẽ có một cái quy trình mà tư vấn viên của TRspodnext sẽ hướng dẫn cụ thể. Bạn sẽ có thư của giới thiệu của thầy cô, bạn sẽ có một cái bài luận và nhà trường sẽ xét học bổng dựa trên những cái đầu dòng vừa kể cộng với lại cái học bạ như là điểm tiếng Anh của mình. Câu hỏi cuối cùng của ngày hôm nay sẽ là câu hỏi về quy chuẩn tiếng Anh. Có một bạn Lữ Lâm Oanh hỏi là cái bằng cử nhân tiếng Anh của bạn là tương đương với lại bằng C1 chuẩn châu Âu, vậy thì có cần trang bị thêm gì không, chứng chỉ gì không? Theo anh hiểu là có cần một cái chứng chỉ khác của tiếng Anh để mà đối chiếu tương đương không? Thì anh sẽ hỏi cô về cái quy định yêu cầu vào tiếng Anh nếu như cái bằng mà tương đương C1 của mình được chấp nhận. So we'll take this as the last question. The last question from a student who graduated from a bachelor undergrad language program in English, and it's equivalent to C1 Europe standard. I'm not 100% sure, but the question is in regard to English requirement, apart from IELTS and TOEFL that you mentioned, any other equivalent certificates that you're going to take, or any other options for students to prove their English capacity?
Unfortunately, it's not our school requirement. It's UAE requirement. They only take IELTS or TOEFL. Okay. So that's why it's better for students to have either of these exam reports, other than like PTE or other things, for example. Yeah. So the answer is yes, you must have IELTS or TOEFL if you want to apply for schools in the UAE.
So there's no choice. They have to rather take IELTS or TOEFL to be able to apply for the visa.
Yeah. Well, there's a chance, to be honest, there's a chance for students, for example, if they never had IELTS or TOEFL before, then we require them to have this kind of test reports when they apply. If
Okay.
sometimes if they had IELTS or TOEFL before, but the score is lower, then it's okay for them to use the previous reports, and they can actually come to Dubai and take a test within the first month and get the required test results. For example, remember I mentioned like, oh, if your IELTS is only 5.0, right? We can conditionally accept you, but within the first 3 months, you have to take the test again and get 5.5, something like that. So to avoid all that kinds of trouble, and also if you take IELTS or TOEFL in Dubai, it will be more expensive. The tax fee will be more expensive than in Vietnam. So we encourage people, if they don't have it, take either of these two tests in your home country. That will be the cheaper and more convenient option. Yeah. And I know it's in some way, it doesn't really sound like a reasonable requirement, but it's according to the UAE. And even, native speakers, like if I'm from the UK, if I'm from America, I also have to take IELTS or TOEFL.
No.
Yeah.
Để trả lời câu hỏi này thì cái này là chính sách của các của cái nước gọi là các tiểu vương quốc Ả Rập Thống Nhất, và Dubai là một trong thành phố trong cái nước đó. Tức là họ chỉ chấp nhận IELTS hoặc TOEFL thôi. Để mà có thể họ cấp cái visa này thì các bạn sẽ phải thi IELTS hoặc là TOEFL. Có một cái điểm bổ sung, đó là nếu như trong trường hợp các bạn có Tư vừa mới đề cập đến, là nếu các bạn không đủ cái điểm yêu cầu đầu vào mà IELTS hoặc TOEFL tương đương đó, vậy thì trình cử nhân là 5.5, nhìn thạc sĩ là 6 chấm đó, thì ví dụ như bây giờ mà yêu cầu là 5.5 nhưng mà mình chỉ có 5 chấm thôi, thì mình còn có thể lựa chọn là mình sẽ thể đến vẫn xin visa được hoặc vẫn cấp và đến Dubai, nhưng trong vòng 3 tháng đầu tiên mình phải thi lại để làm sao đó đạt được cái IELTS 5.5 như là yêu cầu đầu vào của nhìn cử nhân. Tuy nhiên cô cũng đề cập luôn là thi IELTS với TOEFL ở Dubai thì nó sẽ đắt tiền hơn ở Việt Nam, và theo anh thấy như là các bạn sinh viên để mình chuẩn bị đi du học ở nước ngoài thì cái tiếng Anh mình phải tốt nhất, cho nên mình sẽ làm sao đó luyện IELTS, luyện tiếng Anh, luyện TOEFL ở đây cho nó đủ cái điểm yêu cầu đầu vào, rồi mình bắt đầu xin visa. Và đó cũng là câu hỏi cuối cùng, như là cái phần của chương trình ngày hôm nay. Cảm ơn các bạn rất là nhiều thay mặt cho đại diện của Học viện Emirates, thay mặt cho TRיודC. Một lời cảm ơn mọi người đã dành sáng chủ nhật ngày hôm nay để lắng nghe những chia sẻ của Walter, cũng như là nếu như mình còn cái câu hỏi nào thì tư vấn viên của TRיודC sẽ rất là sẵn lòng để mà có thể giải đáp, để có thể trả lời những câu hỏi của các bạn về học tập ở Dubai cũng như những nước khác về ngành hospitality, những khách hàng. Rất là cảm ơn mọi người. Thank you very much. Thank you, Water. Thank you for your time today. It's
Yeah,
really
thank
helpful.
you. Thank you all for thank you all for the time during the weekend. And I wish you all a happy lunar calendar new year ahead. Yes.
Same from this end. So yeah, we always share a prosperous new year, and we're looking forward to seeing you many more times in the coming years.
Yeah, sure. I wish I can visit Vietnam in person very soon and meet everyone. So if you have any questions, just feel free to contact G Connect, and then let's see. Welcome everyone to